In the top stories, feasibility study proves geothermal potential on St. Kitts. Minister Grant calls for a broad global alliance to advance the cause of small island developing states, and police recruits encouraged to take advantage of the opportunity to serve. The details on these stories and more when we come back.
Courts must be crazy. Courts mad again. Courts must be crazy. You can't complain. It's madness. And courts during the month of March. Huge savings up to 50% off and pay nothing for 60 days. Visit a court store near you for pure madness. Look out for crazy deals up to 50% off and you pay nothing for 60 days. The mano only a court. So miss it will be pure madness. Courts must be crazy. What? Courts must be mad. Oh, you mean? Courts must be crazy. Courts mad again. Courts bringing value home.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. A feasibility study done by Terranov, a French engineering and services company for new and renewable energy based in Guadeloupe, has proven that there is potential in St. Kitts to develop at least 18 to 36 megawatts of geothermal power. Speaking at the conclusion of a two-day meeting of geothermal stakeholders, which was held at the Ministry of Finance conference room in St. Kitts from March 21st to 22nd, Minister of Public Infrastructure, Honorable Ian Liburd, hailed the findings as, quote, heartening, but that the government is to consider the way forward.
We have so far done the 3G studies, the geological, geophysical and geochemical studies on St. Kitts, or the surface studies as it's referred to. The indications thus far have indicated that there is a potential on St. Kitts to develop at least 18 to 36 megawatts of geothermal power. And that's heartening for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Minister Liburd said that the government received a draft geothermal agreement from its partners, for which Cabinet decided that there should be an independent review. According to the minister, the government consulted with the CARICOM and the CDB.
In terms of the next steps, next set of actions and timelines, we have agreed today that we would restructure the geothermal agreement, and we have put a timeline on that to be completed by the end of June this year. We've also have agreement in terms of the provision of a business plan and financial model from Terranov. We would, in terms of the joint venture company arrangements, consider the shareholder agreement issues, that the decision making and the commercial issues, key business points in some reform.
He said it was necessary to have further discussions because any agreement signed off on has to bear in mind that government owns the land, the utility called Skilek, and the government will own the resource. Minister Liburd said that whatever comes out of the agreement has to, quote, ensure we protect the best public interest and there must be real benefit for the end consumer. Minister of Tourism Honorable Lindsay Grant made a call for a broad global alliance to advance the cause of small island developing states, or SIDS, at the 3rd Crans Montana Forum held in Dakhla, Morocco. The tourism minister was at the time addressing a high-level audience of SIDS representatives from various regions around the world at the extraordinary conference of small island developing states being convened as part of the forum. The conference focused on the global integration of SIDS as the new dynamic actor factors of South-South cooperation and highlighted the impact of climate change on agriculture and tourism industries. Minister Grant's intervention concentrated mainly on the effects of climate change on the tourism sector, also called for the inclusion of sustainable tourism to be embedded within the broader framework of the critical range of interrelated sustainable development initiatives. Minister Grant also attended a special luncheon in honor of CARICOM countries hosted by the government of Morocco. He also enjoyed a brief encounter with Morocco's ambassador to the Federation, His Excellency Kamari Abdrahim. Ms. Asha De Souza, Foreign Services Officer, and Mr. Mohamed Bekaroun, St. Kitts and Nevis' honorary consul to Morocco, comprised the delegation. Commissioner of Police Ian Quealy has advised the recently enlisted police recruits of Class 41 to take advantage of the opportunity that they have been given to serve their country. He made the comments while speaking at the recently held recruit training opening ceremony at the police training complex.
A lot of persons out there would like this opportunity. You have been fortunate to get this opportunity, so I want you to take it seriously.
He reminded the recruits that no one, including officers, are above the law.
Take one thing from this: none of us here are above the law. So anything we do, we must be able to justify that within a code of law.
Training Class 41 follows the passing out of a police class in July of 2016 and the passing out for the Defense Force class in December. The police training course number 41 consists of 9 women constables and 25 males. After the break, wastewater identified as a valuable water source for farmers and participation in Nevis' Sub-Regional Women's Forum described as overwhelming. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Minister of Public Infrastructure Honorable Ian Liburd is urging farmers to explore non-conventional water resources for the purpose of crop irrigation. Giving an address to mark World Water Day 2017 on Wednesday, March 22nd, Minister Liburd revealed that the reuse of wastewater has been identified as a viable option to address the present water deficit in the agriculture sector.
The Department of Agriculture has identified the availability of irrigation water as the critical factor retarding the growth of the sector on the island. The reuse of wastewater is thus a viable option to address the present deficit in agriculture.
According to Minister Liburd, if applied safely, wastewater is a valuable source of both water and nutrients, and when mixed with harvested water, it can enhance the water quality and contribute to water and food security and livelihood improvements.
Improved wastewater management can improve the health of workers, especially in agriculture, by reducing the risk of pathogen, a disease causing microorganisms exposure. It can also create direct and indirect jobs in water-dependent sectors and beyond.
Minister of Public Infrastructure Honorable Ian Liburd. Junior Minister in the Ministry of Social Development, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, has described participation in the first ever sub-regional conference for women and girls hosted by the ministry as overwhelming. The two-day meeting, which commenced at the Mount Nevis Hotel on March 22nd, brought together participants from across the Caribbean and St. Kitts and Nevis. An initiative of Honorable Brandy Williams, the meeting was designed to underscore the Nevis Island Administration's or NIA's commitment to women's empowerment within the context of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. The minister said she believes that the cross-section of participants was a perfect mix of youth, experience, professionals, and persons from civil society. She expressed hope that the ministry would be able to garner information and varying ideas from the cadre of persons in attendance. Honorable Brandy Williams said the forum was able to draw participants from 6 of 9 organizations of Eastern Caribbean states or OECS. Each delegation was responsible for presenting a country report. The information shed light on the progress of the country's efforts to sensitize the public and speak to achievements on the way to implementing the SDGs. The meeting concluded with a women's rally through the streets of Charlestown, which culminated at the Villa grounds. On day 2 of the meeting, the focus was the issue of women in leadership and women in politics. A number of professionals presented on the inherent issues encountered by women who want to enter into elective politics. Coming up, regional private sector encouraged to make use of Caribbean export. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We move to news on the regional scene. Barbados' Prime Minister Freundel Stewart wants the regional private sector to seek out the assistance of Caribbean export even more. We hear more on that story in this Nation News Barbados report.
Prime Minister Freundel Stewart has urged the regional private sector to make greater use of the Caribbean Export Development Agency. He said the agency had been instrumental in helping companies to get into overseas markets and earn foreign exchange. Mr. Stewart was speaking on Wednesday at the launch of the 11th EDF Regional Private Sector Development Program at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Centre. He said countries like Barbados need foreign exchange for almost every stage of production, and without it, there would be serious effects on the society.
Coming up, British Muslims condemn the London attack. We'll have the details when we come back. Welcome back. We move to news on the international scene. Members of the UK's Muslim community have condemned a car and a knife attack which killed at least 5 people, including the suspect. Many also feared collective punishment as some equate Islam with terrorism. Al Jazeera's Neve Barker reports from London.
Friday prayers at a North London mosque. The British capital's returning to normal after Wednesday's attack, but still trying to make sense of killings carried out by a Muslim convert.
He was a sick man. He was a sick man.
It's an all too familiar pattern. In France, Belgium, Germany, and now London. Muslim communities thrust into the spotlight, and not for anything good. Soon after the attack, this picture appeared on Twitter. It shows a young woman in a headscarf passing victims on Westminster Bridge. It fueled hundreds of racist hate messages accusing the woman of turning a blind eye to the carnage. But the photographer also released this follow-up picture showing the same woman clearly in distress. All part of what many here say is the deliberate distortion of what being a British Muslim really means.
Islam is at war with the people who are doing this. Most of the victims of people with this mentality are Muslims.
If he's a real Muslim, he doesn't do that. Because he can't hurt people and kids and all this, and you call yourself Muslim. How?
We're grateful for this country because it's given us opportunities, and I will defend this country. And it's got nothing to do with me or my religion, and I'm not going to apologise for it.
The Prime Minister Theresa May says the best strategy for the government is to get back to normal, to come together as normal and not let the voices of hate divide the country. But in reality, things here are far from normal. Central London is still an active crime scene, and an investigation is still ongoing. And there are people still in hospital, victims who are fighting for their lives. And here in London, members of the city's Muslim community believe that they're under growing scrutiny. They also feel like they're at risk of reprisal attacks. This and several other London mosques have been advised by police to increase their security.
We are in a very difficult situation for the Muslim community. We hope that there is no reaction from some far-right extremists who might use this incident to spread fear, hate and racism among our society.
The Muslim Council of Britain has condemned the attack and launched a fundraising project for the victims. An attack intended as an assault on the city's inclusiveness mustn't, they say, be allowed to divide us. Neve Barker, Al Jazeera at Finsbury Park Mosque, North London.
Up next in sports, new basketball court in place for Final Four, and Shaquille O'Neal dunks again at a Staples Center. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We give you sports. 8 days before the competition begins, a shiny new basketball court has been laid in place for the Final Four.
The floor, this is a truly custom floor. It's not often you build a court that's 70 feet by 140 feet. So we're 9,800 square feet on this court. Most NBA floors are between 6,700 and 7,200, so it's quite a bit larger. Plus we're 2.5 feet in the air, we're in a football stadium. The situation itself is extremely unique.
Made of sturdy maple and harvested in November in northern Michigan, the court was shipped to Idaho Falls, Idaho for painting and staining. From there, it was trucked to Arizona and unloaded on Friday. It took just a few hours for the University of Phoenix Stadium operations crew to assemble the court at what normally would be midfield for the stadium's chief tenant, the NFL's Arizona Cardinals. New seats are being installed all the way down to courtside for the tens of thousands expected when the national semifinals are played on April 1st. The NCAA Basketball National Championship game, however, will take place in Phoenix, Arizona on April 3rd. Third seed UCLA will play Kent State in round 1 of March Madness. One player to watch is UCLA freshman Lonzo Ball. The star point guard is projected to be a top NBA draft pick after just 1 year in college, and his 2 younger brothers are dominating the high school competition. Dana Jacobson met with the Ball family. Here's more.
LeVar Ball built this backyard basketball court with one goal in mind: to turn the 3 Ball brothers into ball players. Oldest, Lonzo.
Good pass. Get him out of here.
Middle child, LiAngelo. And the baby, LaMelo.
Run it up.
So was this, hey, let's have a family of basketball players?
I'll tell you how
Here it goes. Here it goes.
To know who's going to be playing basketball, you got to have the right genes. I had a lot of short cuties, but Tina was tall. Wow. Kaboom. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna get 3 boys.
Tina, did you know this was what you were in for?
Oh, that was the plan. He said, Tina, I'm gonna have boys. I hope you didn't want girls.
LeVar and Tina Ball met when both played college basketball. And just as LeVar predicted, the couple's basketball genes were passed along to their sons.
There you go. I knew I had a brand once I had all 3 of them. It's gonna be the Big Baller brand.
Go, big ballers!
Of course, those big ballers started off small. And soon, they weren't so little.
Well, yeah, this is where the big ballers do their stuff.
The boys trained with their father 7 days a week, even on holidays.
See, come on, Mello! Come on, Mello!
That dedication led to success. Last year, all 3 played together at Chino Hills High School in Southern California. Their on-court chemistry, up-tempo play, and unlimited range electrified packed gymnasiums as they led the school to its first undefeated season and a state championship.
The game is just a lot easier, when you get to play with people you live with. I see them every day.
This year, as UCLA's starting point guard, Lonzo led the nation in assists and propelled the school to a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. 40 miles east at Chino Hills, his brothers haven't missed a beat.
Mello, do you miss having all 3 of you there this year?
No. I mean, I get more shots this year.
You had the 92-point game.
Oh, yeah.
LaMelo's 92-point game came just weeks after LiAngelo put up 72 points in an outing. Videos of the brothers now regularly go viral. This one has been viewed more than 500,000 times. Whether or not these 3 basketball phenoms all end up playing in the NBA, as their father has predicted,
game time!
You know there is one place you will always find them playing ball.
There you go.
For CBS News, Dana Jacobson, Chino Hills, California.
NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal has attended the inauguration ceremony of the construction of his statue at the Staples Center on Friday. The monument depicts the NBA legend delivering a thundering dunk on the court, one of the signature moves of his playing career. Here's more.
One or two wishes. First wish, I'd wish the great Dr. Jerry Buss was here. You know what's coming. Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Great moment. I just wanted to be mentioned with those guys. I used to watch them as a youngster. When I came here, Jerry assured me that if I did everything right, possibly one day I could be
as great as those guys are.
Most dominant player I've ever seen. And the thing that was most impressive to me is that he's such a fun, outgoing guy. Loves to tell jokes, loves to have fun with his teammates, practical jokes. But before the tip-off, something happens. The switch goes off for him, and he's no longer joking around. He's no longer playing around.
When I look up at that statue, I will see the kind of talented, passionate, and generous man that we've been building statues to for 30,000 years. And we all should be inspired to be our best selves. Thank you, Shaq.
And when we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines.
Courts must be crazy. Courts mad again. Courts must be crazy. You can't complain. It's madness. And courts during the month of March. Huge savings up to 50% off and pay nothing for 60 days. Visit a court store near you for pure madness. Look out for crazy deals up to 50% off and you pay nothing for 60 days. The man only a court. To miss it would be pure madness. Courts must be crazy. What? Courts must be mad. Oh, you mean? Courts must be crazy. Courts mad again. Courts bringing value home.
Recapping the top stories, a feasibility study proves geothermal potential on St. Kitts. Minister Grant calls for a broad global alliance to advance the cause of small island developing states, and police recruits encouraged to take advantage of the opportunity to serve. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.